Morning everyone, welcome to DOdaily. Wake up to walk. It's Des here, ready to attack the day. Checking in for the last time this week, just beside the world famous Trent Bridge. And as you can see, I'm at my default location this morning, down by the river. Unfortunately, not able to get out to the Cock Walk 60 where I left off last week. Of course, that challenge is adding purpose and intention to what I do every week. But for one or two reasons, which I'll come to shortly, it's just great to be out and about, getting those endorphins flowing, coming to terms with things and cracking on with what's got to be done. Those reasons are that I'm a little bit tired. Nothing new in that on a Friday morning, is there? Quite often feeling it. My schedule has changed slightly on a Thursday, so it tends to be a late night. But I'll let you into a little bit of a secret. I actually couldn't get to sleep, and the reason for that was because I was kind of planning out the speech for my wedding in September. Not something I thought about too much, but there is significance in that, which I'm going to explain in today's episode. I think there's real significance, to be honest, but it did keep me awake. So this morning I just took that extra hour in bed, and whilst it's great to be sort of setting about that challenge and using that sort of purpose and intention, it's a bit of a disservice in many ways to call this my default location. Most people would kill to have something like this on the doorstep, and I really just can't get enough of it. It's a fantastic place. It's a little bit dull at the moment, but it's very warm, and believe me, in an hour or so there'll be people out running, walking, people on boats on the river, and it's such an inspiring place on its own. So to get here, to get out and do what I always do, try and encourage you to set about things in the right frame of mind, get those endorphins flowing. What a place to be able to do it. And I touched on the relevance there, didn't I, of what I was thinking about. And at a point where I always look to reflect, of course that's part of the reason I do this episode on a Friday morning, why I do get out. I look for some sort of headspace, some time alone to process everything, to see how the week's gone. And whilst we don't have to work in weeks, it's a good measure, isn't it, on a Friday? Someone who enjoys the weekends, it's good to sort of realise where it's worked, where it's not quite, and be able to take it forward. And I've spoken a lot in the last few weeks and months about being happy and content, and how if I can add some of the other things I love, I'm passionate about, into my routine and start feeling good about it again, it will add even more to the good spirit, the way I'm feeling, the excitement of everything that's coming. And walking out here this morning, the penny dropped. I've been even happier this week because I've been able to get out there running. And whilst that's not for everyone, this is an example, so whatever works for you, I've been really, really happy about my running. I've got back to it. I've found some rhythm, which I've not quite done before, and that's been so important in sort of building this spirit. I always talk about trying to be 1% better. Feel like I'm 10% better this week because I can add the fact that I've got back to the thing I really want to do. I've always considered myself a driven and dedicated person. I pride myself on that fact. It was running in the first place that gave me that feeling, that gave me that confidence. But I guess in the last few months and looking at this week as an isolated occasion, I guess in the last few months I've kind of questioned that. I've had lots of false starts after illnesses and injuries and things like that. Lots of false starts in trying to get back to a fitness level I want to be. But whilst I've definitely not cracked it, by keep persevering, by keep hitting the the false start, hitting the wall after a false start. You know, I've kind of proved to myself that I can actually do it. I can actually sort of get all this back into my routine. You know, start feeling good about it, add it onto everything else. You know, definitely question myself whether I'll ever, obviously age is a factor, whilst I don't feel old. You know, it catches up with us all. I'm thinking, will I ever get back to the point I was a few years ago? But as I always reiterate, you know, you've got to keep telling yourself that you can do something, you want something. When you know something works, you've got to keep working at it. And it's definitely been a case of that for me. Every false start, you know, I've gone again. I always say we go again. But did I really believe it? I believe I did, but I think there was a little bit of doubt in there. You know, I think there was doubt. And I keep passing these messages on to others. But it wasn't until I watched my Sunday Social episode, I mentioned this quite a lot this week, with Kevin Campbell, where I was talking directly to another person, trying to have a conversation that might encourage and inspire others. But I actually looked at it and thought, I'm not doing what I said here. I'm not, whilst I firmly believe in it and I wasn't trying to contradict anything, I thought, I'm not doing what I was talking about a few months ago. That was recorded back at the end of April, and I thought, I'm not doing what I say I'm going to do. So what I had to do was basically kick myself into gear, and I did that. I got out, took part in some real tough runs, 3 of them back to back on tough days. And I've already said, I'm not claiming to have cracked it, because I definitely haven't. There's lots of work to do. Got lots of things to work for. The wedding itself, you know, marathons, half marathons, big bucket list events, ones I've done before, but still looking forward to as much as then. But it was a case of persevering, wasn't it? It was a case of keep working at it. And all of a sudden, I feel dedicated and determined to do what I want to do. It's something I've used in the past. I knew I was, you know, and it's something I use quite often, but, you know, I've really sort of found that belief in it again. The confidence. People have said to me this week, when they've commented on DOdaily, you look really confident, you look really happy. Do you know, I've been really happy and content for a long time now, but I didn't necessarily feel confident. And me being my own biggest self-critic, you know, I look back on those videos and think, you're actually doing it with a smile on your face. You're actually doing it like full of beans. And I think I'm always like that to some degree. But when you can see it really coming out, the enthusiasm really seeping through, you know, that's so important in trying to help others as well, isn't it? But as well as that video and watching that back, you know, sort of taking heed of my own messages, there was another thing that really sort of clicked me into gear. It was the fact on Tuesday I got out and done something for myself. And I've spoke about this a lot on DOdaily recently. I've spoke about how we need to put ourselves first to try and support others and help others and pay it forward that way. Because when we're the best version of ourselves, we can support other people more effectively, you know, and be a better example. And whilst I really enjoy the running groups and putting myself out for others and paying it forward, you know, one of the things I feel was slightly been holding me back is I've not put myself first. I've gone into all these sessions that make me accountable, that people have got expectations from. I'm not going to change that. This is not me saying that I'm going to forget about all that. But I find a bit of a window to get out there, go out for a run without thinking about anyone else, you know, without the pressures of having to do it at this pace or that pace or look after this person or answer this question. And I just enjoyed it. I just loved it. I found that love again. And that's so important, isn't it? Sometimes things can become a labour of love, you know. And I guess that's what it's been. I don't want to really admit that, but I guess that's what it's been for me. It's just been a case of sort of fighting it a little bit. But again, for all that time where I've been saying, if you want it bad enough, you've got to go for it. You've got to keep trying, you know, suffer the setbacks. I've seen people who could probably be a lot fitter and faster and more of an athlete than me, want to take up running. I saw it from the start, want to take up running because I did, you know, but they gave up at the first hurdle. But that's where the determination comes in. So what I'm saying through all of this is, whilst I probably did question my own drive and determination, I'm not questioning it anymore, because I've realised that I have been following my own messages. I have been, whilst that sort of conversation on the Sunday social made me think, oh, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, but I have, because I keep trying, I keep going again. Every Monday I see it as a fresh start. Monday motivation is all about seeing where it worked and where it didn't. And this week I just seen something from the Sunday episode where I thought, it didn't work, take that forward. But that proves the dedication and determination. I've been happy, I've been content, like I say, for a while, but all of a sudden I'm feeling confident again. I've got the belief that I can do absolutely what I want, and when that sort of clicks into place, that's when things start happening. Whilst at the moment I've not cracked it, I will crack it. I'll get to the point with it all where I'm starting to achieve again, and we all need that achievement. We all need to take something from the things we do. It's okay saying, well, I'll just do it, blah blah blah. No, we all need achievement, feel good, you know, and satisfaction. And when you're in the state of mind I am at the moment, that's so important. And what I was saying right at the start of the episode about thinking about the wedding and thinking about the speech and planning forward, almost starting to think forward. One thing I've done whilst I've been almost questioning myself with the London Marathon in particular, the marathon I've got to train for, is I've not thought about it too much. I put it to the back of my mind. But when we're in a good place, and that's great, what I will just say is that's great, because when you're not in the right place, sometimes you just have to live in the moment, work on it like I have been, hit the brick wall, start again, try and be that little bit better, you know, works in a cycle until you find the point I feel I'm at this week. But when you are in a good place, what we tend to do is start planning ahead, and that's a good thing too, because that builds up excitement, anticipation, and we always have to have something to look forward to, don't we? But like I say, on the other side, if it's not so good, it's just about sort of taking one day at a time, and that's what I'm still doing to some degree. Next week I'll be going into it thinking, if I can do this, and before I know it, it becomes second nature. You know, I'm properly back into the things. I've got all my schedule sorted, I've got my motivation up here, you know, and I still feel good, and that's brilliant, isn't it? I feel even better. The endorphins are flying, you know. It becomes the drug that I work from. Running is my drug when it works. People have said to me in the past, you're addicted to running, you are. And I've gone, thanks, that's brilliant. Absolutely love it when people say that. They probably say it somewhat as a criticism, but what a thing to be addicted to. It's got so many benefits. I strongly believe in the link between physical and mental exercise. And whilst Friday morning is all about wake up to walk, I'll encourage you just to get out there and do something. I've had to walk to get into the things, to get back to where I am now, you know. And I'll keep walking on a Friday because it's got so many other benefits. But when I can run, when I can get out there, more importantly, when I can realise what I've realised over this week, that I've got plenty of drive and determination, and I can take my own advice, you know, I can take advice from others. I've got every chance to do what I want in life, and that's so important. As I go into the weekend, you know, I'll be looking forward to more activity, some of it on my terms, some of it around the running groups and what they do. But again, what a great mix, you know. And the more I can believe in myself, the more I can do. Again, it just becomes second nature with everyone else. You start doing what you have to do to push forward, to be happy, you know, and to make the absolute most of it. And that's all we ever do, isn't it? I talk about this, passing on the same messages to people looking in. You know, quite often the viewers will think, he said that before. But if there was ever an example of it working, this is it. It's worked for me because all I've done is keep telling myself the same thing, that if I keep doing this, if I keep doing it the way I've done it, the way I know it works, I'll get back to where I want to be. And that's where I feel like I'm heading, back to a place I want to be, you know, with a smile on my face, you know, just enjoying life, enjoying the past, the present at the moment, and looking forward to the future. Whilst that, the thought of the speech kept me awake a little bit last night, made things a little bit awkward today in terms of getting back to what I needed to do. It's not a problem, is it? Because when you look at the bigger picture, it's actually done with the world of good. It's made me realise how everything might just be clicking back into place. Hopefully you've got what I'm saying there, guys. Quite a deep one for Friday. Of course, it is all about getting out. Look at this, you know, look at this place to be. Absolutely stunning. And I think you can just see there's a group of people behind me, someone on a bike. Get out there and enjoy it. It's at times like this where the penny does drop, where you start realising what works. The good feedback I've had this week, you know, somebody telling me I was confident and looked like I was enjoying myself, and the fact that they said to me it made them enjoy themselves. What a nice thing that is to take out of it. I'll be back on Monday, hopefully feeling great, sort of building off what everything I've said here, and ready to be that 1% better. More than that if I can, but as long as I can find some improvement, as long as I can keep this spirit and enthusiasm going, nothing else really matters, does it? Just doing it.